Welcome week 2 of Summer Sundays and then our series Journals. And so we're excited to have, we start camp tomorrow, so we're excited to have Connect Camp staff with us today. Thank you guys for being with us. These people are much more excited and engaged just because you're here. So if you could come back next week, that'd be awesome. But I don't know if you can or not. But all kinds of stuff happening at our kids' interests and stuff today. Cornhole set up out there. Next Sunday's Father's Day. We got a lot of things happening for Father's Day, so just kind of pay attention to the things that we're publishing and posting about Summer Sundays. There's a cornhole tournament next Sunday, so make sure you sign up for that. Look in the app. You can find all that stuff on the back of the chair if you tap your phone to that. So anyway, let's jump into the message today. We started this last week looking at the life of David. And so today we're going to do two things. We're going to be in the Old Testament book of 1 Samuel chapter 17, and then we're going to go over and spend a few minutes in Psalm chapter 9. And I'll say it this way for the next several weeks, is that the events in 1 and 2 Samuel tell us what was happening in David's life, like around him. But when you go over to the Psalms, it tells us about what was happening in him, right? What he was feeling in his heart and his mind and his emotions. And so the journals are there for us just to get a better understanding of what's happening. So that's all we're doing. We're just simply laying the events of David's life alongside of his journals. And so real quickly, last week we saw David, who's the youngest of 8 boys. He's a teenager. He's just doing his chores. He's watching sheep out in the field. We saw him be anointed as the next king of Israel. And even though it's going to take him another 15 years or so to actually assume that position, the biggest descriptor about David was that he was a man who had a heart for God. And so when we ended last week, we just simply said, hey, an ending point here is just to say, okay, well, if you could have the same heart for God as well, like David, and this was our descriptor, is when you simply care about the things that God cares about. And so we could just simply say, okay, all God's really looking for is someone who is looking for him. And so today we're going to come to this very well-known event. From all appearances would be like the greatest underdog story of all time, right? On paper, you go, well, that's obvious. I know who's going to win that one. You look at the odds in Vegas and you go, okay, let me put my money right there. I mean, the Chiefs are coming to Jack's in October and they say, okay, well, put me down for the Chiefs. Like that was easy, okay? That's easy money right there. And I know they're going to lose now, okay, but I'm still going. But every once in a while, okay, you get like a really big upset. You get like a miracle on ice kind of a thing, and someone defies the odds, and you always have a commentator or someone go, okay, well, I guess that's why we play the game, right? You just never know. So 1 Samuel 17, we're going to look at this event, and throughout the Old Testament, you have the Israelites, okay? You got these people like committed to God, and they're constantly running into the same enemy over and over and over again. It's this group of people called the Philistines. What we're going to read today, on this occasion, you have Israel on one side of the valley, you got the Philistines on the other side of the valley, and no one wants to give up that strategic position, okay? It's a very good military strategy. And then you come to verse 4, 1 Samuel 17, and I want to ask if we could do like some responsive, like some engaged reading today, and I just want to help you. Would you guys help me fill in some of the blanks today that will help drive the story home? Can we do that? Connect Campers, I'm really counting on you all here, okay? Can we do that? There are just a few phrases that I think are fun for us to say. So it goes this way. Then what's the word? Champion. Okay, then a champion named? Goliath. Okay, from Gath, came out from the Philistine camp. He was how tall? 9 feet. Okay, it's like, Dan who came out here to host for us earlier, it's like add 3 feet to Dan. That's what we're talking about, okay? And he wore a bronze helmet, a bronze scale armor that weighed 125 pounds. He had bronze armor on his shins. Bronze javelin was slung between his shoulders. His spear shaft was like a weaver's beam. You can Google that later. The iron point of his spear weighed 15 pounds. In addition, a shield bearer was walking in front of him. So here's Goliath, okay? He's decked out in full body armor. He's covered from his arms down to his knees. He has a javelin. Later, we're going to learn he has a sword, and then he has some kind of a short-range spear, and he has a bodyguard. And so he walks out, and he's kind of wearing the championship belt. He's got that around him, okay, because he's won all the contests, and he's undefeated. Verse 8, he shouted at the Israelite battle formations. Why do you guys keep coming out here and just lining up in battle formation? He goes, am I not a Philistine? I can beat you, and your servant's the King Saul. Why don't you just choose one of your men, have him come down against me? If he wins in a fight against me and kills me, we'll be your servants. But if I win against him and kill him, then you'll be our servants and serve us. And then the Philistine said, I defy the ranks of Israel today. What's this word? Send me a... Okay, I'm looking for a man, best man you got, so we can fight each other. So every day, both of these armies come out and we're lining up. Okay, and you imagine you go back to your tent at night. I don't know if any wives are out there, but your wife says, oh, how did it go today? And you're like, oh, I'm exhausted, you know. Oh, intense fighting, eh? No, we just stood there and yelled at each other all day. That's what happened. So Goliath steps forward and, hey, send out your best guy and we're going to go one-on-one. That's what we're going to do here, okay? And so the winner's going to take all. Because look around. I mean, there's a lot of people out here. We got a limited medical staff. Let's not make a mess. Not everybody needs to die today, okay? It's just one of us is going to die. And it's called representative warfare. Very common kind of a way to do battle. The best man's going to win. Verse 11. When Saul and all of Israel heard these words from the Philistine, what are these words? They did what? They were losing steam. Oh, no. They lost their, what's the word? Okay, awesome. And they were terrified. Because nobody wants to come forward and fight Goliath, all right? I mean, he's legit, and everybody is probably looking to King Saul to go, dude, you should do something. Like, you're the tallest, you're the biggest dude, you have a sword. I think you should get out there and do something. And by the way, there's only 2 swords in the whole nation of Israel at this time, and you can read about that in another place. But everyone's terrified of this one guy. And yes, there's plenty of reasons to actually be a little bit scared of this guy. There's only one reason to not be afraid of him, and that's because the promises of God, all right, the promises of God will always be bigger than the problems that you face. And I think that might be kind of like the word that some of us need to hear today as we go forward with getting into the real story here today, is that maybe today you just simply need to take a step towards putting your trust in God and have confidence in God so you could actually move forward with courage because of God, in spite of the fear that we sometimes feel. Because the same thing happened here every single day. We're all just marching out there, lining up, yelling at each other for 40 days until 17. One day, Jesse, okay, this is David's dad, told his son, David, hey, take this half bushel of roasted grain along with these 10 loaves of bread for your brothers and hurry to the camp. Also take these, I just can't do it. I can't read this with a straight face. I don't know why. Take these 10 portions of cheese to the field commander. Check on the well-being of your brothers and bring a confirmation from them. So you jump to 20. So David got up early in the morning, left with the flock with someone to keep it, loaded up, set out as Jesse had charged him. So here you go. Hey, David, I need you to head out. I need you to go over there to where the fighting men are and take a snack, check on the boys, all right? Can you do that? And there's nothing like a little cheese and crackers, apparently, to get you hyped for a fight, so that's what he's doing. He's not going to fight, okay? He's not going out there to fight. He's literally just, you have to be 20 years old to fight in Israel's army. He's not old enough to be able to do that. He's just a delivery guy. That's it. I just want you to go run an errand for me. And we don't know that he had these thoughts. I know that I would have some of these thoughts. Maybe some of you would have this before. Like, man, it would be easy to think, you know, just last week I was anointed king. Like, I'm going to be the next king around here. And here I am just kind of wasting time out in the field. I'm just watching sheep. And, you know, it's just monotonous. I'm living in obscurity, just hanging out in the pasture. And you got me doing delivery. And I know about me, I'd go, man, I want to do something bigger. I want to do something better. Anybody else? I mean, it would be easy to think that. Good rule of thumb, by the way, don't waste your time as a shepherd while you're waiting to be the king. Don't waste your time doing the thing that God has you doing right now while you're waiting for someday to actually happen, because some of us want a title. That's what we want. Some of us want to have a position somewhere. Some of us want to have some kind of a leadership role. But can I just tell you that starts in the field? That's where it starts. Serving does not always grow into leading, by the way, but I can guarantee you that leading actually always begins with serving. And if serving is beneath you, then leadership is probably beyond you. So don't despise where God has you. I mean, I know you can desire, hey, I want something different, I want something better, I know you have amazing things planned for me, but don't despise where God has you. Actually embrace it and use it to prepare for whatever is next whenever God shows it to you. See, David's not just watching sheep, like he's learning to be a protector. He's learning to be a fighter. He's probably got a lot of spare time on his hands. getting very, very good slinging stones at targets. And all these things prepare him for how God is actually going to use him. Verse 20, he arrived at the perimeter of the camp as the army is marching out to its battle formation, shouting their battle cry. I don't know what the songs were. Israel and the Philistines, we line up in battle formation again, one over here, one over there. We're facing each other. And so David left his supplies in the care of the quartermaster. And what's the word right there? And he ran to the battle line. And when he arrived, he asks his brothers how they were. How you doing? Everybody good? All right. I got cheese and crackers back at the tent. And while he's speaking with them, suddenly the champion named Goliath, he came forward from the battle line and he shouted his usual words. And I think these three words are really, really important. Would you say them? He shouted his usual words, which David heard. And when all the Israelite men saw Goliath, they retreated from him terrified. Same story, different day, except this time, David's there to hear it for himself. And previously, apparently, verse 25, there's a guy who said, hey, listen, whoever can get out there and fight this guy, he's defying Israel. The king's going to make this man, he's going to give him three things. He's going to make him rich, number one. He's going to give you his daughter, and then he's going to make you and your whole family, be tax exempt forever. So listen, if anyone volunteers to fight, okay, you can't just fight. You got to win. Okay, you got to win. There's big reward money, all right? And then he's going to give you his daughter. And listen, money's never been that much of a motivator for people. And they're probably, is she good looking or not? We don't know. What kind of set of dysfunctions does she come with? Does she have any problems? We got to figure that out. I thought that was funny. And you'll be tax exempt, okay? Now you're talking. Anybody else? You're like, okay, I'm interested. Tax exempt forever for your whole family. It's just not enough to motivate anyone. So 26, David spoke to the men who are standing with him. I just want to confirm this. Something's going to be done, right, if someone kills him and removes the disgrace from Israel. By the way, who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? And this is where David starts to get a little irritated, and he gets a little ramped up going, listen, this guy's getting on my nerves. Doesn't this not bother anybody else? Y'all going to let him talk about us like that? You going to let him talk about God like that? Y'all just going to take that? You get offended by a lot of stuff, don't you? We get offended when people crack on our sports teams, don't we? When the Chiefs lose or Duke loses, y'all think it's fun to send me a text and ask the dumbest question you could ever ask, which is, did you see the game? Listen, of course I saw the game. I see all the games, but you're trying to dig at me. Or someone says something about our girlfriend or our boyfriend, or, I read some of these community posts on our Facebook chat around here, and someone says something about our church or some other church in town, and I'm like, I want to fight you right now. But this guy's trashing our God. How can this dude who doesn't even worship God stand up against God and defeat God? Who's this guy think he is? In verse 28, and a little aside, David's oldest brother, Eliab, we met him last week, listened as he spoke to the men, and he's not angry at Goliath. He became angry with David. Why'd you come down here? Who did you leave those, and this is kind of a crack right here, few sheep. Who'd you leave your few sheep with in the wilderness? I know your arrogance and your evil heart. You just came down here to see the action and be part of the battle. I know what you did. Anyone have an older brother? Yep, I do. He's 4 years older than me. And this is when your older brother looks at you and goes, dude, shut up. What do you, get out of here. We're doing real fighting man stuff down here right now. And so don't you have a couple sheep to be worried about right now? Now, Eliab, he was there last week, right, when Samuel, the pastor of the whole nation, comes along and anoints David and says, hey, this kid, right, he's going to be the next king, and God's with you, man. In verse 29, David, what did I do? What did I say, man? It's just a question. I can't even ask a question. And so it gives you the idea. This isn't the first time they've had one of these things going on, right? And David's the only one who doesn't seem terrified of the giant. He's offended that no one seems to have any confidence in God. Sometimes, right, when you start to step out and you're like, I'm going to make a move here, kind of in the name of faith, and you have a passion, like I feel a passion developing for God right now, or you simply just have faith that nobody else seems to have in that moment. Sometimes the most discouraging people are those that you believe are supposed to be on God's side, but they lack the courage. Or they tell you that whatever you're thinking about can't be done, or you know what, you're just crazy. Like, who do you think you are? And there's a lot of takeaways, I think, from this story, and I'm just going to throw a few of them out there for you, and I think others will land on you. But here's one of them, is that sometimes the biggest obstacle is not a giant, but our unbelief. See, the biggest giant for the people is not even really Goliath. Okay, yes, he has to be dealt with, but the biggest obstacle is their unbelief. It is having that heart for what God wants and who he is. And sometimes it's the giant of unbelief in the heart of God's people that keeps his work from actually being done here on earth. I'll just step out into my context for a second, and what I do to help try to lead our church is that in the next few months, we're going to start talking about much bigger vision and mission that I think is on the horizon for us and for our community. And I would call it God-sized kinds of things that will require faith, and it's going to require courage. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to require finances. And some of us are going to be tempted to say, okay, dude, just relax a little bit. Like, we can't do that. Like, just step back for a second. Well, I love what David's going to do, because he's going to intentionally shift the focus from the size of the giant to the size of our God. And King Saul hears, okay, good news, we got a volunteer. Someone's going to fight. And he's like, that's awesome, man. I'm going to have to get out there and do this, and bring him in. 32, David said to Saul, listen, don't let anybody be discouraged, okay, to lack or not have courage. Your servant will go and fight the Philistine. All right, listen, King, just relax. Nobody should be worried about that dude, because I'm going to fight him, all right? Verse 33, 2 words here that are important. But Saul replied, what's that word? You can't. You can't do that. You can't go fight this Philistine. What's that word? You're just. What a terrible word, right? Like, you're just a youth. And he's been a warrior since he was young. Now listen, Saul would know David in some capacity, because what happened between last week and this week in the story is that David got a part-time job playing dinner music at the palace. So he would look at David and go, oh, wait a second, aren't you the harp player? But you're just a kid, man. And someone like you couldn't possibly do something like that. Saul's just another negative voice in David's life. Because I'm telling you, anytime you get ready to do something big for God, or he's laid something on your heart, and maybe other people just don't see it, they don't believe it, and listen, they're always going to be naysayers. And what Saul does is go, man, come on. Check him out, man. He's doing CrossFit every day. Like, biceps are as big as your waist. His armor weighs as much as you do. And Saul does what we tend to do, and he measures the obstacle against the weakness of David rather than the strength of God. In verse 34, so David answers Saul, okay, well, let me just kind of give you some of my qualifications. Your servant, me, I've been tending the sheep. Whenever a lion or a bear came and carried off a lamb from the flock, I went after it, struck it down, rescued the lamb from its mouth. Like, if it turned on me, like, I just grabbed it by its fur, struck it down, killed it. Listen, your servant has killed lions and bears, plural, okay? David going, listen, man, I know I'm just a shepherd, but listen, I never lost a sheep this whole time, okay? Lions, bears, some tigers, oh my, like, I was trying to get him away. If I'm trying to get him away and then he turned on me and I'm like, okay, it's going to be like that. That's how it's going to be. No match every time. And he goes, this uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them. For he has, what's that word? He has defied. He has defied the armies of the living God. And David said, the Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine. Let me ask you, where did David get his confidence? Like, where did David actually get this courage? Because I think it's the real turning point of this whole event. And I'll just say it this way, and I'll put it in our terms, is that what we saw God do yesterday is what should, I'll say it that way, give us the confidence to believe that he will do it today and tomorrow. Listen, everyone would know this, They're literally fighting this battle. The Israelites are currently standing in the promised land. You're talking about a historical piece of property that God had forecast for years and years and years, did a miraculous series of events, brought them a victory, and you're literally fighting this battle in the promised land. Like you have a history of God being for you. Like they have a history of God providing. They have a history of God proving himself to be faithful and acting on their behalf and doing the impossible. And then David just recounted his own personal history. Like his entire reason for confidence is because of what God did yesterday and the day before that and then last year. Like the Lord rescued me in the past, and I'm telling you, he's going to rescue me again. And if you remember last week's journal entry from the Psalms, David described God as being the leader and the protector. He's like, man, God's out in front and he's showing me the direction, but he's got my back too. He's like, my entire life has been guided by him. And wow, if God hasn't done some amazing things. I mean, the confidence that he's gained in the pasture out there gives him the confidence in the valley. Listen, I've seen God come through in the past. I know he's going to come through today. Your decision, by the way, I think your decision to trust God going forward is based on what you have seen God do when you look backward. I mean, when I pause and reflect and look back on my life, like for me, like I have seen enough to know that I'm going to put my confidence in the Lord. Like I'm going to put my trust in the Lord. I'm going to put my hope in the Lord for the future. And some of us have decades of material to draw from. Others of us, we just got a few weeks under our belt. But this trust in God means I'm going to say yes to God even before I know like what's coming or how it's going to work out, because based on what I've seen God do back there, it's going to give me the confidence and the hope for what I can expect from God up here. And yeah, David, I don't have as many fights under my belt as he does, but I got a lot of history with God, and I'm confident and I'm ready. And Saul shakes his hand and he says, well, good luck to you. I hope God is with you. You're going to need some armor. In verse 38, Saul had his own military clothes put on David, had a bronze helmet on David's head, had him put on all the armor, right? Strapped his sword over the military clothes. He tried to walk, but he wasn't used to them. It's like, I can't walk in these. It's like if you have a little kid or you remember doing that growing up, trying to wear, put on your dad's jacket and his shoes, and David's like, I can't do that, but let me do it my way, okay? Let me do what I know. So David took them off, and instead he took his staff in his hand, chose 5 smooth stones from the wadi, that's just a dry riverbed, put him in the pouch in his shepherd's bag, and then with his sling in his hand, he approached the Philistine. Now, this is not like the rubber band slingshot maybe you had. This is like a leather pouch with 2 straps attached to it. You put a little stone in there, and then you're swinging it wider and faster, and you're just building up all this momentum. And they say some slingers are so accurate that they could hit, a bird mid-flight. And they're so accurate they could hit a coin from as far away as you could possibly see it. You could actually kill or injure a target from up to 200 yards. So now we don't know this for sure. I just think it's kind of fun and funny is that some people say David got 5 stones because Goliath had 4 brothers. Like once he goes down, it might not be the end of the story, okay? So here's how it plays out, verse 41. The Philistine came closer and closer to David. He's got his shield bearer in front of him. And when Goliath looks and he sees David, he despised him because he's just a kid, although he's healthy and he's handsome. He said to David, am I a dog that you're going to come out here with a stick? And then he cursed David. This is not, darn you, David. He cursed David by his gods. Come here, the Philistine called to David. I'm going to give your flesh to the birds of the sky and the wild beasts. So Goliath sees David. He's insulted. Like, that's the best you got to say. You're a kid. You look like he's bringing a stick out here. What are you going to do, poke me with that thing? And this is silly. He starts cursing up a storm. Some of you have a superior who uses every curse word in the book, and they're very creative. Now, some of you are that superior, okay? Same applies. This is your CEO letting loose on you, like with everything they can. 45, David said to the Philistines, you come against me with your sword, you got your spear, you got that javelin, but I come against you in, can we read that phrase? I come against you in the name of the Lord of armies, the God of ranks of Israel. You have defied him. And I don't know, you come out with your qualifications. I don't know if it sounds the same. I mean, hey, John here, Camden County, 6'1", 188, 55 years old. I got a yellow belt with a green stripe in Taekwondo in 1998. You're in big trouble. Now, David goes as high up as he possibly can. Listen, I am coming in the name of the Lord. You know, I imagine some guys back on the hillside going, oh, what's happening? I can't see anything. Hey, what's going on? How's he doing down there? And, well, I can't make out any words. I don't know, but David he's yelling and he's pointing, so everybody get ready to run, okay? And David's down there going, okay, let me tell you how it's actually really going to happen, verse 46. He says, today, the Lord will hand you over to me. Today, I'll strike you down. I'm going to up the ante. I'm going to remove your head. I'm going to give the corpses of your army to the birds of the sky, the wild creatures of the earth, and then all the world will know that I'm an amazing shepherd. That's not what it says, is it? Oh, they'll know that I am not what my family says about me. Doesn't say that. Oh, they'll know that I'm going to be an amazing king. Doesn't say that. All the world will know that Israel has a God, and the whole assembly will know that it is not by sword or spear that the Lord saves. What's the phrase? For the battle is the Lord's, and he will hand you over to us. I mean, I don't know how you read that or hear that and not just want to punch someone in the face in the name of Jesus. Do you feel that? Like, because it's David going, man, it is not my battle. I'll take you down, but the Lord will do it. And I am here by God's power, for God's purposes, and I think you're in big trouble. And then everyone, like including you, you're going to know that God's the one. And I don't know what your theme music is. Like for me, I hear Eye of the Tiger kind of building in the background. And you get to 48 when the Philistines started forward to attack him. This is Goliath going, okay, let's go. And he waves them forward. And David, what's that word? David ran quickly to the battle line to meet the Philistine. Listen, I bet he's a little scared. I'm not saying that. He's just not paralyzed by fear. And he's confident in God. Okay, what's the update out there? What's happening down there? Well, he's running. Away? Good. No, he's running straight at the giant. Verse 49, David put his hand in the bag, took out a stone, slung it, hit the Philistine on his forehead. The stone sank into his forehead, and he fell face down to the ground. Whatever your fighting movie is, Rocky, I don't know what it is, but this is the moment where you're like, can we just like rewind that and hit that on slow-mo for a second? Because I just want to see the sweat fly and the slobber go, and the mouthpiece is just like airborne. That's what we're talking about. Israeli Defense Forces, by the way, did a number of simulations and calculations on this to say that a typical size stone hurled by an expert from 35 yards would have hit Goliath in just a little over 1 second. And it would have had the stopping power of a modern handgun. Verse 50, David defeated the Philistine with a sling and a stone, and then he overpowered the Philistine and killed him. Oh yeah, he did it without having a sword. A sling, a stone, and a living God. And David, what's the word? David ran, stood over him, grabbed the Philistine's sword, pulled it from its sheath, used it to kill him, cut off his head. And when the whole army saw that their hero was dead, they fled. Okay, hey, report. What's happening now? What's going on down there? Well, he's down. Oh, man, poor David. No. The giant, he's down. Maybe he's faking. Don't go for it, No, David's got a sword. Wait, he's holding up a head. It's Goliath. They're running, It's like how the turntables. And let's go. The Office, gotcha. 53, when the Israelites returned, third service, it just goes all different directions sometimes. 53, when the Israelites returned from the pursuit of the Philistines, they plundered their camps. Okay, so we're not going to kill everybody because we need you to come and serve. You're our workforce. But David took Goliath's head, brought it to Jerusalem, but he put Goliath's weapons in his own tent. He's literally like, I'll take these. But what kind of bad, man, I don't know, right descriptor. What kind of bad man do you have to be to run at an undefeated giant, to kill him with one shot, to cut off his head, and did you hear what it said? And then walk around town with it. He's literally, I assume, walks it right up to the palace and drops and goes, here, it's done. And I don't know, I mean, it's just, listen, hey, you don't get a stand against God or the people who love him because he's got it. And I don't know, like, maybe later that night, David has some time to reflect. Next day, maybe it's years later. But we think Psalm chapter 9 is the journal entry about this event. So some versions of the Bible will put a little heading right there that says a psalm on the death of a son, or it can get translated a psalm on the death of the champion. But I just want to read a few lines of it, and what I want you to notice is where David uses the pronoun I and where David uses the pronoun you, and the different things that he's saying. And so he takes out his pen, he starts to write. Here's his opening line. I will thank the Lord with all my heart. I will declare all your wondrous works. I will rejoice and boast about you. I will sing about your name, Most High. Now, I don't know how you would write down that journal entry after you've just had this amazing victory, and I don't think any of us would blame him if he just started writing, oh man, I can't believe that just happened, and Eliab said this, but then I said that, and I heard that loudmouth over there with a big goofy grin on his face, and I'm like, I'm going to shut that dude up, and I just walked out there in one shot, and it was Dan. I'm so pumped like I would write that. I just ran up there, can't believe it. I took his own sword, cut his head off, held it up, boom, mic drop, over, and I'm out. He doesn't do that. I mean, you look at the actions that David has just written right there. I thank, I declare, I rejoice, I sing. You know why? Because it's not really a story about David. It's a story about God. Oh, it's a story about God working through me. Got that part, okay. But I'm just over here celebrating the victory. So then he goes on, and now he's going to go, you, okay, when my enemies retreat, they stumble and perish before you. Hey, we saw it. They turned around and ran. They all fell on their face. For you have upheld my just cause. You are seated on your throne as a righteous judge. You have rebuked the nations. You have destroyed the wicked. You have erased their name forever and ever. The enemy has come to eternal ruin because you have uprooted the cities, and the very memory of them has perished. He never one time in the whole thing takes any credit for it. It's just all about you, God. It's all about you, God. It's all about you, God. Verse 7, the throne. He goes, let's go there for a second, because the Lord sits enthroned forever. And look, God, you got a perspective, like you see it all. You're in it all. Like, we have confidence in you, okay? Now let's choose these to finish with, 9 and 10. The Lord is a refuge for the persecuted, a refuge in times of trouble. He's like, man, we were in deep trouble over here, but I found some peace in you. Like those who know your name, I think that's important. Trust in you because you've not abandoned those who seek you, Lord. He's going, look, man, I trusted in you and you didn't let me down. Like you were, God, you are, you always will be with me. I just love that. You just with me. That's it. Like this is what you do for people who know you and who seek you and who trust you. So let me just end with this very simple thought. So basic, but I don't know what else to say, and that's this, is that giants are not a problem for God who gives the victory. Okay, let's just summarize David's thing here real quickly, and then I want to ask you a question. Okay? Here's what David's saying to Goliath, okay? All right, you're coming at me with everything that you've got, but I'm going to come in the name of Jesus, the God of angel armies that you have defied, and here's what's going to happen today. God's going to deliver you into my hand. I'm going to strike you dead. I'm going to cut off your head. I'm going to give your dead body and your enemies' bodies to the birds and the beasts, and everyone's going to know. This is what's going to happen. Everyone's going to know that God is alive, and he protects, and he delivers, and he saves, because the battle I am facing belongs to him, and will give him the victory. So I can walk into any battle and face whatever this world throws at me. Here's the question, can you? Because there's a lot of terrible applications to this story, I'll be honest with you. You're not facing a 10-foot tall Philistine by any means. But, okay, you've got something. Can we just say that? You got something. Like something keeps coming back at you. It's like, man, we've been here before, day after day after day. It's just kind of calling out to you and taunting you, or something standing in your way. I mean, something's blocking what God wants to do in your life, and someone's telling you you can't do something or be something. And it just feels like the season right now that a lot of us are kind of going, man, just the sky is falling, okay? Or I have no idea how this thing's actually going to work out. Or the other struggle, I don't know how this day, I don't know how I'm going to get through this particular day. Or I got too many mistakes in the past. And something just kind of reared its head again for you. And it leaves in its wake a fear and kind of a dismay, like some dread in our hearts. And a lot of times we're wringing our hands going, oh no, man, I don't know. Do you know what God has never said before? He has never said, oh crap, my bad, I didn't see Goliath. So sorry about that. He just never said that, like he sees it all. But you know who didn't see that, by the way? Goliath, he didn't see that. God can do anything he wants in any situation he wants when someone believes it's possible through faith, not in self, okay? But in God and what he can do. And so let me just hit you with a couple of questions. I think if you're a follower of Jesus, a great response today would be to take communion, which is in the back of the seat in front of you. But what is the seemingly impossible thing that you need to trust God to do? Like, what is that thing that really scares you, but it's inviting you in, that other people kind of shrink back from and sometimes laugh at? How can I find some confidence in God today? And how has he proven himself in the past? And I know some of us go, well, I don't know. I mean, give me something. I need something. Okay, I'll give you one. I'll pray. We'll be done. There is one ultimate champion in this world, and it's Jesus Christ. There is one ultimate giant in your life called sin. And I love this. We'll get to this eventually. David, born in Bethlehem, in a family that will eventually bring us to Jesus, right? He was a shepherd who became a king. And listen, Jesus is the greater David. That's it. He's just a greater, more perfect version of David who steps into the battle against our greatest enemy, sin, and he says, all right, I'll be the representative. Not everybody has to die here. I'll be the representative. I'll do it. I'll go toe-to-toe. I will stare him down. I'll beat him in a match to the death. Conquered once and for all. Undefeated, indisputable champion. And the same God, okay, who's on the battlefield with David, same God who defeated sin and death, is the same God who's here with you right now in this moment. I mean, the same God who gives you the strength you need to pull off what you need is with you. He's with you. But don't miss this part, okay? So that the world will know, right? So that the world will know that it is this God has the power to heal, to restore, to give courage, to do the impossible, to fight for us. Why? For the battle is the Lord's, and he will give the victory. So I don't know what kinds of things you need to talk to God about in the next few minutes, or we're going to respond in worship, and maybe you'll give it the very best you have of the day. Just take a minute to pray. Maybe through communion, be reminded of all the great things God has done for you. And I just want to pray for us this morning and say thank you, God, for this time together. God, thank you that. And maybe, God, I just want to start with confession. God, forgive us for the times where we thought we could do it in our own strength, with our own weapons. Thought we could just try harder. God, today we do want to take a step in your direction, to trust you, to have confidence in you. And I don't know what all the things are that we're fighting in here today. I don't know what stands in the way between us and what you have for us. So we're just going to pray today, God, that you would come to our aid. God, give us courage, give us confidence to trust you. God, I think some of us today just need to pray through the past year. Like that's where we are. Like it's just not happening like we thought it would happen. God, help us to become the person that you want us to be now, so we're prepared for what you have next. God, we bring these battles to you. We bring our enemies to you. It's probably not a mother-in-law or a boss. God, we got real things that stand between here and where we need to be. And In the end, God, we want you to get all of the credit for what happens. God, we want you to be the one who gets praised and thanked and celebrated, and everyone else around us can look and go, man, only God could have done that. So God, for all the prayers that we're offering up in this moment today, we're going to pray them in the name of the mighty Jesus today, and amen.